Right, so another morning, another print. So this completed overnight, and yep, I'll have to peel that off and get the actually. Yep, still stuck down a bit. Pull that off. But 7 hours, 42 minutes, and complete. So, looking, I think there was a shift somewhere on this. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's definitely a shift somewhere. I don't know if part of it had come off the bed or whether the nozzle snagged on. Yeah, but you can see a gap there. Unless that's the brim. Well, there is a brim all over the place, but yeah, I'm going to clean that up. See that come up, because you see the brim is all over this and starting to peel off in places. I really should have turned that brim off. Anyway, I'll clean that up in a bit and we'll see how it comes out. Well, this is going to be a good test for bed adhesion. So, again, look at the model there. Lots of spider lines to represent the cracks of where the football hits the glass or the wall or whatever it's meant to be. But when you come down here, you can see how pieces are going down which aren't linked yet. So we'll see how it gets on with bringing those little tiny pieces together, because I think that's where my first test print went wrong. And where I thought these were shifts, they're not shifts, that's part of the design. But the brim, I think, here got caught with the nozzle, and then you got a build-up of this stuff, and I think that's what flipping ruined that print. The rest of it is actually good if I bother to take the brim off, but the brim is everywhere on every little part, and I am not going to sit there sand them away and remove the brim. So I was like, sod that, I am just going to go and reprint it, but without a brim. So let's see how this works out. All the little bits have joined up, and I think I might have found the culprit of why that piece of the previous one came up and got clipped. And I should have realized, there's my air conditioning vent, and when I stand, right here in front of the Giga, that one is blowing straight at it. And I'm wondering if that might have helped to peel it off a little, because those tiny crack marks, I mean, they're so small, might have just allowed one to lift, and that might have been what caught that print head. It caused that little mess there. So, yeah, one thing. Don't know what I'm going to do. Perhaps to get something I can attach to the ceiling just to act as a barrier, just to stop that blowing directly at the Giga. Because I'd sealed the other two off to stop them blowing on the Tronicsy. Yeah, never occurred to me about that last remaining one. Yeah, I'll have to give that some thought. Meanwhile, 7 hours, 34 minutes to go, and looking nice so far. I'll show you this Wallart on the wall. So that's the one with the brim on. So I took the brim off. By the time I got the brim off, it actually looks brilliant, perfect. So yeah, most of that mess was just the brim. Took bloody ages because every bit of that, every nook and cranny had a brim on it. So like I said, I've set it running with the other one to print without the brim. Yeah, didn't work out. So you can see it's not on the bed at the moment, and there's a reason for that. I came back after removing the brim off that other one and found it wrapped around the print head, sliding around, and a massive blob of death on the nozzle. PLA had gone right up the hot end, right inside the print head. It was everywhere. The track had broken on this. It was making all sorts of horrible noises. So I hit the hit the emergency stop, reassembled the track. I did get everything to move up and down on the gantry and slide back and forth, so everything mechanical wise seems to be fine. So no damage there apart from, like I say, the gummed up print head, although I will measure both sides of this and make sure that this arm's not out of whack. But I took the print head off, as you can see there. It did reheat so I could extrude the filament, so everything was working fine there, apart from the fact it was encased in PLA, a big solid mass of it. So got that in my computer room at the moment. I'm going to do my best to see if it's salvageable, if I can get that solid brick of plastic off it. So wish me luck on that. Meanwhile, I'll contact Elegoo, see if I can get another print head or a hot end or whatever I'm going to need once I get this thing out of the way. So yeah, just wish me luck on that. But I guess I won't be printing on this for a few days anyway. So meanwhile, though, that did come out nice. So quite pleased with the prints that I've got off it. Hopefully this is just going to be a short delay, but hey, it's 3D printing. It's what happens. We live with it. So. Right, so I've disassembled the print head. Let's see what I could do. It was actually worse than I expected. I thought there was just a small blob around the back, but no, this thing is everywhere. You can see, yeah, I can't even get to the screws to remove the hot end. They're hidden away with that blob in the way, and it is solid. So I'm heating up a soldering iron to see if I can get some of this off. And you can even see that's the silicon sheath. You can see that is even packed full of filament in the shape of the sheath. You can see it's bulging around there. Yeah, this is a real mess. I'm hoping I might be able to get this thing going. You could just see the wires to the hot end there, and of course they still must be working because I managed to retract the filament out to remove the print head. So if I'm careful, I might be able to get this thing at least running until I can get a new print head out of Elegoo. Yeah, wish me luck. It's going to be fun. Well, I got a mixture of good news and bad news. I mean, first bit of good news was that I managed to get all of that solid blob off using soldering iron to heat up the PLA till it was like the consistency of toffee, and then using a set of snips to gently tease away various areas. And as I was getting the areas away, it allowed me to disassemble it a bit more. so I could get easier access to the next bits, and I honestly thought I'd got it down where I'd be able to reuse it. But once I got down to the wires of the thermoresistor, you could see, oh, no, see one wire here, it had snapped. There's that last bit of blob right here that I hadn't managed to get down to, and it had snapped there in the worst place possible. Now, of course, that's a very, very thin wire, and it's encased in an insulating sheath. I mean, these look like bare wires, but they're not. They're coated, and they're coated to protect them against the heat of the hot end and keep that wire in there from shorting. So trying to like bare this back and then solder it is mission impossible. So you normally just replace the thermoresistor. Now that is wedged in there solid. I tried to get that out. It's not coming in. There's actually PLA in the hole there, which I would have to try and melt out. Here's the actual heater block itself. That presses up against the metal piece here and heats that, and then that connects up to the electronics. That bit was probably going to be fine. It's just this last fine wire that would connect up here. But also I discovered that this is bent. I don't know if you can quite make it out, but obviously while it was whizzing around in the block, there you go, you can see how it's off center. It got, you know, bent when it was gummed up and moving around. So this whole thing, this would have needed a replacement. You know, sometimes you can straighten them out, but normally they'll snap when you try and push them back. So yeah, so that was really unlucky. I thought I was going to get some life out of this, at least while I was waiting for a new one. Good news is, of course, and a big thumbs up to Elegoo support. Thank you guys. They are sending me a new print head. I did order a second print head as well while I was at it. They're on back order though, just to keep a spare one around in case this ever happens again. But I do recommend, if you take one of these print heads apart, either have a good video to show you how to reassemble it, to remember what wire goes to what connector. They are a bit fiddly. There are lots of screws and they're all different sizes, but there is a logic to it. But you just got to remember how to be able to put it back together again. So I took lots of pictures and little videos as I was taking it apart piece by piece. So now I've just got to wait for the new one to arrive, and it should come, I reckon, early part of October. So I'm probably going to have, what's the date now? Date's the 29th. So probably 4 or 5 days I might get a new print head, and then I'll be able to slap it on there. This was a thermoresistor for the Tronicsy, which I had a vague hope might have been compatible, but no. Even if I could get the old one out, the head of this is too large and the wiring's all different. So, yeah. Never mind. Well, but yeah, I've just got to wait. So print on my other machines until then. But again, Tronicsy support was excellent. Fired them an email, got a reply back from them a couple of days. You got to remember the time difference, and there was no qualms. I mean, I sent them lots of pictures and detailed explanation of what had happened, and they're sending me a new printout. You couldn't ask for more. So thanks very much, guys. I do appreciate that. And I will fill you in once the new one arrives and I can get back to printing again. And while I am waiting on a new printhead to arrive, I'm printing out a little mount for a Beaglecam. I've got some spare Beaglecams kicking around here. To mount this on the corner of the OrangeStorm Giga, so I can keep a close eye on what's going on. So if I do have a failure like that, I can spot it a lot earlier and go in and shut it off. So yeah, time to get a camera up and running. Yeah, it was a good move to check both sides of this, because in the forward position they're both about 9mm across this gap here, and yeah, it was about an inch off on this side. So all I did, undid the screws here, these two screws, slackened off the knob. That allowed me to take the belt off at the far end, which that meant this end could then, this side of the bar could move freely. Brought them forward so that they were both that 9mm gap here, and then put the belt back on, retightened it back up, and now everything's good again on that axis. So yeah, worth checking. Probably something I should have checked right at the beginning. There's no telling if that happened during this little blob of death incident, or whether it might have been that way from the factory. Although it looked obvious that there was something wrong this time, I think I would have spotted that during assembly. Hey, who knows? Anyway, it's corrected now, so definitely something worth bearing in mind if you got a ruler in your hand sometime. Just make sure both sides of the bar are the same distance on the frame. I mean, I've had that before on the Elegoo as well, and you can see a similar principle there. The belt on either side, and in this case of this one, all you do is you undo the hex screws on one of those cogs, which allows it to wheel freely around, and make your adjustment and then tighten them back up. I thought I was going to be able to do the same thing on this one, but there's an actual flat piece in there, so even though you can slacken those bits up, all these hex nuts do is stop it falling off the end. They don't allow this to rotate freely because there's a flat piece in there that actually locks on and makes sure that it can't slip, which in some ways is a good thing. But yeah, all done. And of course, also check your Z-rail distance as well. Something else worth making sure of. Right, back to waiting on my print head.